Hello YouTube, this is Keith Kevin Ken. How you doing? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to talk about the Spyderco Shaman. And I'm going to ask you to help me as I begin to carve down my 700 knife collection down to about 150 to 200 pieces. Okay? The Shaman is going to happen today. Hey, I've really missed you guys. A lot of stuff happening. Maybe I'll do a video on what's happening these days. For me, obviously a lot of things are happening around the world. But right now, I am trying, and it's hard. I have to tell you, it's hard to try to get your collection down about, 500, 550 knives. I am going to do a series of trimming the collection. It's hard. It's hard to part with these knives. But on September 11th, I'm recording this on September 2nd, I'm going to do a lot of trimming. It's going to include shamans. It's going to include a whole lot of exclusives, a whole lot of Spyderco exclusives, a whole lot of Chris Reeve knives, and a whole lot of Microtechs. We're going to do it all. It's Saturday, September 11th, but I'll tell you more about that and more about the knives that we'll be selling. But today, here's the question. I asked it on Instagram last week, and that is, if you had my collection of shamans, which I'm about to show you, which ones would you keep in your permanent collection? Say you want to keep 3 out of all of the shamans you're about to see. What would be your 3 that you would keep? This, of course, was the sprint run that really had everyone going crazy. It's the Shaman Crew Wear Spyderco Sprint Run with micarta scales. Of course, all of these Shaman have 3.6 inch full flat ground blade and weigh around 5.2 ounces. And they all have different steels, which we'll talk about, and they all have different scales as well. But this one sold out quickly and is a very hard knife to find. What Spyderco said, because there weren't a lot of those available, they said, hey, we're going to come out with a sprint run, another sprint run. It'll be a little bit more knives. We're going to do Z-Wear, which resembles crew wear. And this came out as a sprint run, and it sold out super quickly as well. Z-Wear steel and that same brown micarta scales as well. If you're not familiar with the Shaman, it is really it's a big native. Spyderco created a number of knives from the native. The little native, the Shaman, the native chief. This Spyderco is another sprint run Shaman. This one had Crucible's S90V steel with carbon fiber. This is the only Shaman with carbon fiber. Nice, smooth carbon fiber. Really looks great. Again, with S90V steel. If you're not familiar with Spyderco and their sprint runs, of course, lately it's all been exclusives from distributors, right? Whether it's Blade HQ, Knife Joker, or whoever. But what Spyderco does with sprint runs, here's another sprint run. And I have 2 of these. This is the Rex 45 sprint run. What Spyderco does is they offer limited editions. To be a sprint run, you have to be a different version of an existing knife. So of course, Shaman existed, and then they've done these sprint runs. The Rex 45 is a part of the burnt orange Rex collection. My next video will go over that entire collection. I'm trying to figure out, besides some Shamans, the ones I don't keep, which as you'll see are mostly exclusives or sprint runs, whether I'm going to sell all of my burnt orange Rex 45 collection of knives, which is basically the Spyderco USA made knives, military, all the way down to the little native. I don't know. The question when I do that video will be, if I'm going to keep one type of all of the Spydercos, should I just keep the Rex 45 burnt orange Spydercos and trim the two doubles that I have, the Shaman and the little native? Or should I cherry pick my best USA made Spydercos out of my collection? I'm going to start with the burnt orange in a video, and then I'll show you what I would have if I cherry pick. And I want to hear from you. This is a real nice knife. Black blade, crew wear steel. This is one of those exclusives. This exclusive came from Knife Joker. Sold out in minutes, like most good exclusives on Spyderco does. Very hard to get. If I do trim these these Shamans, as you can see, most of them are exclusive, sold out. At the end of this, I'm even going to show you the 4 Shamans that Spyderco introduced the Shaman knife to us with. The plain Janes of the collection. And even those are sold out and hard to find. That's the Knife Joker exclusive. Crew wear, black blade, green G10. I love this series of knives. This series of knives from St. Nick's Knife Factory is one of my favorite series. It has all the US made knives. The only one it doesn't have is the Native Chief. My guess is they haven't announced it, but that's probably their next one. Black hardware, black knife. Black blade. Oh, I just love this. It feels so good. It even feels better than the Native. It's bigger than the Native, but it even feels better than the Native because all of the edges are contoured and rounded off, and because they come out just a little more, they just fit your hand just really nice. Really do. St. Nick's Knife Shaman, again, sold out in minutes. Crucibles 4V steel with the black blade, and then of course red blade with the black hardware. Really nice. Here's one of my favorites. It really is. This was another producer exclusive. Came from Knife Center. Rex 45 steel. The same as the burnt orange. But in this case, it has this wonderful rosewood scales. I'm almost sure this one I'm going to keep. I haven't made up my mind. I need to start making up my mind if I'm going to trim my collection down to the best possible permanent collection. People say, well, what's your criteria for a personal collection? And it sounds so corny, but it's love. What are these knives I just love? I love them all. You like them all. But some of them are just special. And I think this rosewood, These rosewood scales, with Rex 45 steel. I'm in love with it. But right now I'm in love with all of those knives you see on the table. Help me out. Tell me the three. Try to be helpful. Would you please try to be helpful? Two of the more recent producer exclusives are these two. These came from Cutlery Shop. Cutlery Shop has been doing producer exclusives of Spydercos for quite some time, and one of their signatures have been these bright orange knives, both with the black and satin. This really isn't satin. It's a nice blade, isn't it? I really love that blade. But both of these are really nice. Again, bright orange G10 scales. And this has that wonderful tool steel, CTS XHP steel. Those, my friends, are the sprint runs and the producer exclusives of Shamans. And you just can't find them. You can find them on the secondary market, costing more than a fancy Chris Reeve knife. I think all I want to keep are three of these. People always ask me, how come you don't use your knives? Well, first, let me just tell you, I have 45 to 50 value folders from Spyderco. I use them a lot. Second, my definition of a collection for me, and I collect a lot of things, first edition books, Cuban cigars, believe it or not, silver coins, gold coins, is to just have that passion of finding the knives, to build the kind of collection that you like, that you're proud of. And then at some point, and I just turned 62 2 months ago, at some point it's time to trim your collection, sell it, keep a smaller permanent collection, and then use that money for more collections. The reason people always say, are you rich? That's why you have so many knives? No. By the way, this was the first knife that Spyderco, first Shaman Spyderco presented. Yeah, the regular, right? Black G10 scales, S30V steel from CPM. And at the same time, they did the serrated version. Then they came out with the black plain edge, S30V. And with the serrated black edge. I have always said, especially now that Spyderco has really been focusing on producer exclusives, etc., a lot more than I like, that it's great if you can get the exclusives. It's wonderful to have those as collectibles. But get the plain Janes. I've talked to people and they say, I've always wanted a Shaman, but I can't get them. Well, a year ago or 2 years ago, you could have gotten one of these S30V steel Shamans. And now those are even hard to find. Shaman's a real nice knife. Not as big as you think it is. Again, 3.6 inches, about the size, the total length of a Chris Reeve Sabenza. But what I was saying about collecting is I always think that I'm going to trim down my collection. I was able to, I'm a normal guy, not rich. I was able to do this kind of collection because I really love knives and fell in love with them. But also, I sold my gold, a lot of gold coins and silver coins when silver rose to $50 an ounce. And gold at that time reached 1,500, almost double what it is now. A lot, less than double. And I sold a whole bunch of it. But I still have silver coins and other coins that I collect. It's just a small permanent collection. And that's what I do with all my collections. But remember, on the 11th of September, that's a Saturday, I will trim my collection. It will be a lot of Shamans, a lot of exclusives from Spyderco, and a lot of Chris Reeve and Microtech knives as well. But for this video, help me out. What 3 would you choose? Hey, it's good to talk to you guys again. I hope you're doing well. Take good care of yourselves. Please take good care of yourselves. My heart goes out to all of those being hit by got hit by the hurricane, or those of you who are sick or having issues. Just know that my thoughts are with you. Keep those pockets full. You take care. Bye now.